You got to be holding the mic, controlling it right, fluid and nice. Now fighting who be on the left or your right. When I'm holding it light, molding it like Michelangelo 30 flights upon the skyfall, laying the job all day and night. Use the insight to dive into the way I write, how I like to flip it. Artistic with the lyric and the visions. Blacksmithing, I've been smithy. Begin kicking, begin to quicken the pace. With the rhythm, I'm picking the place. All in your face, be undeniable flames and style. Delicatessen, the professor lessons of introspection. Any model I'm collecting. Making connection, paying commission and selling. Don't keep it from my possession. That's how it go, and that's the goal. To show mad love, to stretch it so far across the globe.
Look at all these bases I got. Damn, I'm finna build, paint, play. Maybe, well.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
Greetings, programs. I'm Jake, and we are joined by
Malev Da Shinobi.
I'm Malev.
Excellent. So we've got
good to hear y'all.
Malev on the stream with us tonight, which is super cool. I don't know, I can't remember when we met. No doubt we met online at some point. And
yeah, I think officially it had to be 2019 Adepticon. That probably was like the first. That had to be like the first time in person.
Yeah,
I think.
first time in person. But I'd certainly been aware of your work prior to that. Jim mentioned in the chat there that we got some new music this week. There's some
new music
that was a tune from Malev himself. As I said in the promo notes, he's a musical maestro. In addition to being an awesome painter and fantastic member of the community, game designer, all sorts of stuff.
Cheers, my man. Yeah, and lucky to be. We're really in a good time for it.
Yep, we are indeed. For a second there, I thought you were going to say golden age, but it'd be like that a little too cliche for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a term that gets kind of beat, but you know, beat over the head a lot, but
it does, yeah.
No, I agree. I think we are. I mean, we've talked about this before. I think I would say right now the reason I would say it is a golden age is right now there are more companies making miniatures than ever before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are more board games out than ever before. There are more role-playing games out than ever before. Like, if there is an IP that you like, there is a game that has. Like, I promise you. It's like, I'm into Game of Thrones. Good news. There's board games, there's miniatures games, there's role-playing games. I like Star Wars. Boy, are you in luck. Like, like when I was a kid growing up, there weren't that many options. There were maybe 7 or 8 role-playing games.
Yep.
And really, it was like D&D, And this is also in the 80s, so it was like the whole like D&D's the devil. And it was like, okay, so it wasn't really in the mainstream. It was not something that was like really talked about.
Yep.
Miniature wargaming was big in the UK, but
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Games Workshop did not have even a store in the US when I was growing up. That wasn't a thing.
For
So-
sure.
I still have. I could probably search back through my email and find an email that I wrote to Games Workshop asking them for a Warhammer store in Utah, my state.
Yep.
At the time, just being like, Utah would be great if you brought Warhammer here. Like, do it, you know.
Awesome.
And like about 15 years later, we have 2 Warhammer stores here, and I don't even visit them. Sometimes I do.
Nice.
Malev, does this take you back?
Those ones are before. Those ones are before me. Those ones are right before I got in. I got in via Dawn of War. Like that was kind of the big like slip and slide because I was looking at the stuff. Had to have been 2nd edition because it was Goblin Green bases and Green Flock handmade terrain era. But I didn't know anything about it. And then fast forward later, my friend gets there's like a game store closing in New York somewhere, and his pops buys the Dark Eldar Black Templar 3rd edition box and sends it over to Utah. To his son, he gets it, and he's like, I don't know what this is. So he brings it over to my house. And he's like, do you know what this is? And I'm just like, I do know what that is. Not really, but I do know what that is. And then like, because it was right around when Dawn of War came out, and Dawn of War was like, I was like, oh, this is that thing that's kind of that tabletop game or something. And I just remember being young and being like, this has to be because I would play with GI Joes and stuff all the time, and I was thinking, looking at those pictures, like, this has to be the coolest game. Like, this is the peak of playing with toys, right? You know, because with GI Joes, they were still fighting around like shoes and stuff. You know, I didn't have any terrain other than plastic kits or something, or outside. So like to see the toys with also the terrain and like really immerse you into this whole thing. Yep. I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what's going on right now, but it
was such a weird the way we got into it is very similar. Like Dave's talked about it, I've talked about it. But even from a corporate standpoint, I remember when I got hired at Games Workshop as a manager, which has got to be 20 years ago now, the US was really big about talking to kids. And I remember we were at a corporate retreat and they were talking about in the UK, they didn't really do that. Like this is like you were saying, like this is an adult's game. Like this is so if you walked into a store, 25 years ago with your 11-year-old son, they're going to talk to you and go, well, what are you looking for your Dark Eldar army? Like they're assuming that like this child is with you, but you're the one that's playing to our soldiers,
sure.
Which I was like, that's so weird. Like, I mean, it makes sense because it was designed by a bunch of like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I think they were all college age when they designed it, right?
No, they would have been a little bit older, maybe.
But still, they were adults.
Yeah, they were like they looked kind of like affectionately like in their punk era, they were like 22 to like 29, still just vibing out big time with it, but
for sure,
and then beyond.
But
cool thing.
Wild.
Okay, just going to say hi to some folks in the chat. Say hi to Scott, hi to Jim.
Hey everybody.
Matt Bowles is here. Hi Matt. Jez is here. Evening, Jez. And Jeff is here as well. Good evening. Matt Bowles said we use those catalogs all the time at the Order Center in the US HQ. So
good.
Yep, definitely cool. I'm also going to take this opportunity to say thank you to our season sponsor, the Army Painter.
Heyo.
Yep. So loads of cool stuff coming up soon from the Army Painter, which we're excited to talk about when we're allowed to talk about it.
We have to say that every week. It's like Dave and I already know all the stuff that's going on. I'm sure Malev does too. Like
I mean,
but like we can't
hit me up, Army Painter.
right. But like we're not really supposed to talk about it yet. I'm gonna over the holiday break. We're gonna have some of the Army Painter folks on.
Yep.
And maybe we can get into some stuff there, which would be kind of neat.
Which would
but
be
yeah,
cool.
like every week it's like, hey man, big shout out to the Arm Painter. Boy, we would like to tell you some stuff, but we can't.
Check out their things.
Yep.
Go to their YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go to
yeah,
YouTube,
like,
see the things. So, yep. Anyway, thank you very much, Army Painter. We really appreciate
For
it.
sure.
One other thing as well. Not this weekend. This weekend being the wonderful holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend in the US. The following weekend, I'll be at PAX Unplugged, hanging out at the Game Envy booth, doing some painting, selling you some paint. I'd like to say thank you to Game Envy, who sent me a set of the Phalanx Select brushes.
We only thank them if I get stuff too. Like,
Yo, I got these joints
come on.
waiting. I'm still busting through the Phalanx Select one. Once I straight like destroy these brushes, I'm busting these joints out.
All I'm going to say, Jake, is
Ready and waiting.
is you need to do more painting. If every week you came on and said, "Here's what I painted this week,"
If I had more stuff, I mean.
but the other thing I'm going to show as well, I mentioned that I was going to have something cool.
New lamp.
I got that same lamp right here. I'm gonna blind y'all with it right quick. Check it out. Bazow!
Dang.
Look, I can be like right up in the zone here, just illuminated, looking at my mini.
Yeah.
This stuff doesn't even enter my peripheral. No bleed.
Yep.
No light bleed, which is mad nice. Because on my other lights, I legit have a piece of white paper that like goes down and is cut like a perfect length, so that the light isn't just blasting in my eyes.
Right.
It's shooting downward, and that don't have that problem with this one.
Yep. My old painting lamp has it like a spherical shade on it, or hemispherical, and but I needed to add some paper at the bottom of that to avoid that same problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's rough.
Matt says, "Ooh, tell us about the lamp."
I will check.
It's a good lamp.
The so this lamp is the Lucent lamp, which is coming up soon from Game Envy. It's going to be for sale. They're not running it through a Kickstarter. I'm not sure exactly.
Pre-order is live right now.
Pre-order is live right now. There we go. Pre-order is live right now on their website. So GameEnvy.net. There are different temperatures. So there's a warm. There's not quite as warm. There's like a mid-tone. There's a cooler and the coldest version.
The coldest.
So, cold. Just that wonderful bright white light there.
When you're feeling cold.
So this also uses like a G clamp to clamp onto the desk. So
cool.
And then has lots of points of articulation.
9 points of articulation.
9 points. Look at you. You got all the. You got the
I was looking for
info.
the pamphlet. I was about to just go infomercial on y'all, but it's not. I don't know where it is right now.
And there we go. So hooray!
It's real cool. And the funnest thing too is if y'all have the Monument Go bag, this bad boy lamp transforms into a small enough shape to fit in the back of the Monument Go bag, which is pretty tight.
That's pretty.
That's
sweet.
pretty good.
Yeah, definitely nice.
It's a strong lamp.
If anybody's looking for a merch, like Dave and I have our first batch of the. Was that what you were going to say next, Dave?
That was gonna be what I was going to say next. Yep. So
we just put up the Bill Paint Play t-shirts for the season up. They're on the Alpha Mega website. I don't know if are they in the notes?
I didn't. I forgot to put them in the notes. I'm terrible.
We'll put it up on the Facebook again.
Yep.
But we're taking pre-orders right now on the t-shirts. I think we've got everything from like medium up to 3X.
Yep.
And then if these do well, I'll probably do for next season. As soon as we get to January, I'll probably do a run of hoodies. So because I myself am a hoodie guy. But I figured we'd do t-shirts first and then.
Yeah, I'm not so much a hoodie guy. So.
Dave wanted t-shirts. We're doing t-shirts first.
Yeah. I like t-shirts and hoodies.
Yep, same.
Look at that. You're our peanut butter and jelly. Awesome. Cool. John Roberts said, "Ouch, I felt that in Bastrop." Fantastic. I think he was talking about the when you turn the light on.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, definitely hot lamp goodness. It's very cool. I've been enjoying it. Doing lots of fun painting. But speaking of painting, let's jump into.
Use code Malev at checkout. Save yourself some dosh.
There you go. At Game Envy.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah. So if you heard that, use the code Malev at checkout. Oh, John Roberts says zip hoodies.
Whatever you guys want. If people want zip hoodies, I'm a pullover guy myself, but I'll probably put them up both. It doesn't cost me anything to put up both options. So
Why does the term zip hoodie sound so strange to me? I'm like, zip hoodie? Zip hoodie?
Zip hoodie.
Is that a character in a Star Wars show I'm not familiar with?
It is.
Could be. It sounds like a Lucas name.
Mm-hmm.
But
zip hoodie.
one thing I'm going to jump into before we go any further is another PSA, telling people about the Nova Open Charitable Foundation fall raffles. We had the summer raffles earlier, or this might have been fall raffles part 2. Not sure. But in those, you can actually one of the things you can buy tickets for is a Warlord Titan.
That Warlord looks incredible.
It is amazing. Yes,
It's artisanal.
it is artisanal indeed.
Locally sourced, handcrafted, artisanal.
So yeah, that's one of the things you can get, and the other one. There's a whole bunch of different.
We can use all those descriptors. Small batch.
Yeah, it's definitely that.
It just marks it. It just makes it more valuable.
So there are a bunch of different things, including all sorts of armies. But one of the other things I wanted to show was the Primarch collection. So they've different painters from around the world. I think 18 different painters have each painted one of the Primarchs.
He's only got one Alfarius, though.
Well, there's only one you can see.
You need to do the other one in an inverted color scheme.
Well, I think you'll find that all of them are Alfarius.
That's also true.
Yep.
Dang.
So, but they all come in the super cool Artis Opus display boxes as well. So that would be a pretty awesome collection to win if you're a Horus Heresy fanatic. So
Still to this day, it bums me out that the only Primarch who doesn't have a scenic base anymore is Sanguinius. Like they all have their scenic bases except for Sanguinius.
right.
Well, is it because like the Sanguinius scenic base requires that he's like laying down like this?
No, it's the one where no, that's the scenic base for Horus. For Horus after he gets swole with power. The regular Sanguinius base comes with him on the demon head.
Oh, okay.
But if you look at him now, he's the only Primarch that like doesn't have a scenic base. Like they're all on some crazy base, and then like this guy made one, but Sanguinius just comes on like I think he's on a 50 mil. Aren't all the Primarchs on 50 mils?
Yeah, probably.
So he's just on a 50 mil, and I was like, it's so weird like seeing it. You're like, where's the rest of the model?
That's all good.
Maybe something terrible happened to.
There we go. Matt Bowles said Zip Hoodies was Red 3 in Red Squadron in the original Star Wars trilogy.
It sounds legit. It sounds legit.
Makes sense.
Definitely.
I watched that a lot as a child, so that's where it came from.
That's where you heard it.
So it's stuck
Makes
in the
sense.
mind.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So now we are ready to jump into hobby we've been up to. Jake, just quickly.
I've been packing up my hobby is what I've been doing this whole week.
Packing up the store, getting ready to move.
Yeah, I mean there is a little silver lining. Like as I was packing all my stuff.
Yep.
So Ben and I have a back room that's probably the size of what you see here on camera. It's not our office is not big, and we have these big shelving units that go floor to ceiling that have like 4 shelves worth is my stuff, and then like 3 shelves, and then another shelf is Ben's stuff, and then I have stacks of stuff, and he has stacks of stuff, and then he has a ton of stuff out on the floor on the desk where he's like working.
Yep.
So as I was packing all my stuff, I was like, ooh, I forgot to have these. Like, I found so much stuff that I forgot I had.
Isn't that fun?
Like, it's crazy. Yep. Like, it's all still in box. I have the old limited Terminator Chaplain. I have the limited Captain from the store special when they did store birthday parties.
Yep.
I have the Rogue Trader Marine, the 30th anniversary.
Yep.
Oh,
I have I have the random lieutenant from that, the one who has like he's got the sword through the orc's head and he's like leaning on his knee.
All right.
I have that guy. I have the limited company champion. I think it's
Yep.
I have that. Like, I was just like, I forgot I had all this stuff. I have the Japanese series of the Terminators from Japan, not the
Right.
ones that were released here. Like, Adam
Oh,
sent them
nice,
to me
nice.
from overseas. Like,
Yep.
I was like, dude, I forgot I had all this stuff. It's crazy the amount of stuff that I have.
Yep.
But
Nice.
yeah,
Cool. So
It's
you've
a
been
lot.
moving. So maybe next week you'll be mid-move.
Okay, so the plan is, and again, for those of you at home, don't try this at home. Don't decide to move your entire business the week of Black Friday. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
One out of 10 stars would not recommend. So this week we started like packing up a lot of our overstock just to get it ready to go, and we
Yep.
have like almost like a loading dock. We've been loading everything in there, and then we've been slowly packing up all of our stuff. But like we have a ton of minis that I'm like, I don't even know where we're gonna put these. We have like 4 cases full of minis, including an Archeon painted by Duncan Rhodes.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so I'll have to figure out something for that. Like, even if it's me holding him gingerly while I walk to the other store, like, but so we were trying to pack up all that stuff. So I busted out all my cases today, and I managed to pack up almost all of my stuff. All of my painted stuff is packed carefully. So like all the flesh eaters I've been working on, you know, my Titanicus stuff, like everything that's painted or like in like along the way, that stuff is now carefully packed and put away for the crossing. And I've been slowly packing up all the other stuff that I have. Like I found a whole box of the original Deathstorm,
Right.
like with all the minis still in it. I found the Devastation of Ball box set with all the Blood Angels in it.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
yeah, I found my what was the box that was the 2 Renegade? It's the 2 Imperial Knights or the Imperial Knight. and
The,
Fourth
the
Knight.
like mini game one, the one that
Yeah.
was like actually a game in itself, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so I found that. Like I was just like, damn, like I have way too much stuff.
I really wish. I don't know what was going on with GW with those games because they made Gangs of Kamarag.
Yeah.
Yep,
They
I have that.
made
I found that too.
Renegade. They made a couple. I can't really remember.
They
them,
made
but were
they made Speed Freaks. the
Speed
Orc box.
Freaks. They were. Well, the Speed Freaks is the same but kind of different because Gangs of Kamarag was like criminally cheap compared to like what
Yep.
you got in it.
Yeah.
Where Speed
Oh,
Freaks
yeah.
was still kind of
what
a
you'd
comparable
expect,
box
yeah.
set price.
Yeah, Games of Comrock, if I remember right, it was like $30 or $35.
Yeah, it was like $40 and it came with
came
like thrice the kit.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 3 bikes. It was 3 bikes and 5 of the Green Goblin dude.
Yeah.
I forget what those are called.
Hellions.
Yeah.
Hellions.
They're not- What
I
are
had
they?
to translate that Green Goblin comment. I was like,
Yep. Hellions.
Yeah, Hellions. That's it. Yeah, so it's 5 Hellions. Is it 5 Hellions and 5 bikes?
ooh, the other one I'm thinking about is Combat
no.
Patrol. I want them to bring that one back
Yeah.
because I want Combat Patrol. Even though that game is I've heard nothing good about it. It's got old scouts, and
Oh yeah.
I'll just tell y'all I love old scouts.
Dude, I will send you all the old scouts I have.
Okay, I'm about it. Like
Yeah,
Excellent.
them chunk
it's
boys is
bonkers.
great.
Cool.
But
Okay.
yeah, so my hobby was basically trying to figure out a way to transport my hobby.
That is part of the hobby these days.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
the
I did.
huge-
I did do a little bit of repair. So a friend of mine sent me these 2 terrible quality 3D prints of the Venture Brothers. If everybody is familiar who that is, it's Dean and Hank Venture, and he sent them to me. And the resin is really like low grade and really brittle, and they both broke at the ankles. So I got 2 bases with feet on them, and then 2 bodies. So
Yeah,
I
crossed up
glued
on
them
them.
back together with Loctite, and then I primed them at the beginning of the week because it was really nice.
Yep.
So I primed them on that was like the extent of the hobbying I got done, other than packing up my hobby.
Yeah. That's,
So I guess technically I worked on 2 models.
Yeah, we gotta repair stuff sometimes.
just quickly,
It's
we'll
not
look at the chat. Yep, Alpha Omega is on the move. Paul says, I love those display cases. I understand that Artis Opus has them. Yes, they do. You should order a couple. Malev, Jess Hunt says, Malev, do you have any plans for your UK distributor for your games? We can get into that later when we talk about Blacksite Studios, if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. The short answer is yeah.
Oh, short answer is yeah. There we go. Josh says Jake doesn't need Christmas this year. He just needs to clean his office.
That's not true. I'll know it's not from Santa. It's in my office.
Maybe Santa was early.
Maybe.
Mr. Kenny Love says, "Hi, Malev."
Oh, hey, y'all.
Yep. Josh says, "Don't say busted in cases in the same sentence. It's bad juju." Fantastic. And Jim Broadbent says, "I have an unopened box of old Scouts."
Nice.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. Even as we get the new Scout kit, I'll tell you, Xenos Rampant is going to be a great place for all those, for your full Scout force.
I'll have to see. We have a box of, and if I can find it, I'll take a picture and send. And if the stuff's still in, I'll just send it to you, Malev. It's the old. It might be Combat Patrol actually. It's the old box. It's like a green box with 3 Scouts wearing. I think they're wearing Blood Angel armor.
Right.
Yeah, Lost Patrol, bro. If you have, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
We have
have that game?
We have a copy at the store.
Really? No
Yeah, we
doubt,
do.
bro. I would love that. That would be great.
Hit me up, and once we've completed the move, I will send it to you.
Yo, that's I have a tweet where I was like saying like at Warhammer, because I don't remember what they released. They were bringing back something. It might have been when they were doing the made to order old Tyranid sculpts or something, and I was like, reprint Lost Patrol, you cowards. Like, honestly, because I'm like, I know these Gene Stealer molds and these Scout molds is going, so I'm like, just give it one more run for the money, and then
we definitely have a copy of that at the store, 100%. So I will, if I can.
That's awesome.
Once we move, I will unpack it and ship it to you.
Wherever, man. No doubt. I'd love that. That'd be cool.
It's just sitting there. We have a game library people can borrow, and it's just sitting there. And everybody's always like, "What's this?" And I'm like, we're always playing Warhammer. They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's kind of like that, only it's like super simplified." And then they'll be like, "Well, just teach me how to play Warhammer." I'm like, "Cool." So no one ever plays Lost Patrol. It just sits there.
Yeah, no doubt. And I've heard historically that game is just like it's just not a good game. The Gene Stealers just kill the Scouts.
Yep.
It always makes me laugh because you were like, it was like, okay, so in Terminator, in Space Hulk, it's 10 Terminators against Gene Stealers, and it's still a pretty fair match. And I'm like, now it's just like guys in shorts fighting Gene Stealers. That seems like a way worse deal.
Like the Predator movie, it's as if there was like 10 Predators. And you're just like, well, this movie's short.
Yep.
You know.
Excellent.
What was the other game before Lost Patrol? The one that came with, it was Ultramarine Scouts with the Mohawks and the face paint against Tyranid Warriors, like the old ones. With like the dog.
That almost sounds like Space Crusade stuff to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Space Crusade.
In that era.
I remember that box. That box.
Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, Dave.
Moving on. Malev, I've thrown up your pig dude.
Oh yeah.
That you painted recently. So this is some
Check
of Malev's recent hobby. So
he's chilling.
What is this guy?
Yeah, this is Hellbore from Relic Blade. He is a special pig warlord character, and he's missing his left hand because it's been chopped. But that doesn't matter because he only needs one hand to do the chopping.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, so I recently drove up north to guest star on another Twitch stream where they usually do 40K battle reports, and I brought a whole bunch of my Relic Blade stuff, and we played Relic Blade live. And when I came back, that got me real jazzed to paint some more Relic Blade characters. That's what's fun about it. You really only, if you have a good like foundation of Relic Blade characters to play games with, adding just one character is it's a ton of variety to like list building and stuff. And with this one more pig character, like the pigs right now they're looking good. They're looking good.
My business partner Ben is a huge fan of Relic Blade. Every time I go to Adepticon or something, he has me pick up. He's like, "Get me these 3 guys," and I'm like, "All right."
Yeah,
that's awesome.
This guy's looking super cool. He's got that all those lines on his face, and he looks very grizzled.
Yes, he's an
angry old pig.
I usually don't do kind of like, because you can see he's got like the purple shadows kind of in his body.
Yep.
And you could even see on the bottom right that like airbrush purple blast, which is mostly just the dark magenta from Pro Acryl.
Right.
It ends up having really vibrant color. Normally the Relic Blade stuff, I don't do such a colorful like shadow style. I usually kind of just go with the more traditional approach with shade and then high contrast stuff. So some of the stuff I got rid of that. Like with anything that's not skin, I pretty much was like, I'm getting rid of this purple because it was looking so different to my eyes.
Right.
Because normally I've been using this kind of like really colorful underpainting style recently while I painted a whole bunch of other things. And then coming back to Relic Blade, which I kind of never did any of that on, I'm like, whoa, this is a little weird here and there. But in the end, ain't got time, just move him on. I like the way he turned out. Put a little bit of snot in his nose.
Super high contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I tried to figure out a way to pull attention to his face, and I ended up using a whole bunch of like pinks and reds instead of highlighting with the greens. Then I started just like highlighting with more saturated pinks. So try and make that a good focal point, you know?
Yep. No, it definitely works. Scott says, I hear Metal King is at LVO in January. Are you going to be there?
I think Sean did say that. I think he did say that. So yeah, yes.
Cool. So that's a yes.
I remember it in passing, but yeah, we're gonna drive. That's super. That's only 6 hours from me, so that's a real easy little drive just to get down there and hang out. Because the first time I ever met Sean Sutter was in actual LVO 2018, I think 2018. Or yeah, and then because it's a similar thing, he was doing LVO, and I was like, hey, can I help you with the booth? Is that weird? And I also had painted some miniatures for him too, so I was like gonna drive and like deliver them for them, have them in the case and stuff. Nice. And yeah, it was cool. But after we did the show, we were like, man, teaching Relic Blades to people who essentially it was like teaching. They didn't know that miniature games existed. They just thought that like Warhammer, that word means miniature games. And I was like, no, this is Relic Blade. They're like, it's not Warhammer? I'm like, no, it's Relic Blade.
It's a different
game. But I thought Warhammer, and it's like, well, and I was like, dang, I'm like, oh, the Kool-Aid is crazy over there. They got that just wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's not ownership like that.
Yeah.
It's the whole, like Kleenex versus tissue.
Exactly.
Like, like a lot of down south, like they'll call, like, do you want a Coke? And that doesn't mean do you want a Coke. It means do you want a soda.
Yeah. Do you want a carbonated beverage?
Yeah, it's like Warhammer has become like the default setting for miniature games. I mean, D&D is kind of that way with like role playing games. Like, hey, do you have like a Star Wars D&D? And I'm like, no, we have Star Wars and we have D&D. Like, there's no Star Wars
D&D. Yep. You know, I know. You like sitting there and you're like, you have communicated effectively, but I don't like it.
Like, I understand what you want. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, jeez.
Excellent. So I've moved on to the next model. This is your captain for your Stargrave crew.
Yes. So as you know, nice. I do a lot of solo wargaming with Relic Blade. A lot of the games and how I grew to be so familiar with the game is just like by playing the game against myself. But because the way that game works, it was fine. I was like, oh my gosh, there's not like it wasn't any weirdness to the system of like being partial or any it's just because the way that activates, you just make the most optimal decision right in the moment and you see what happens. And it just created such a fun experience. So I've really been attracted to solo wargaming, and Stargrave, Frostgrave I was really into, but I really just explored that like mentally, read the books, was imagining how fun it would be to play and what like my wizard would look like and stuff. And then fast forward, Stargrave comes out, and I was just a nut for them kits. Like I don't even know if y'all can see them, but there's a straight up stack. There's like 12 boxes. It's all Stargrave, all Frostgrave, just all those plastic kits. Because I was just like, I really like just building those plastic kits. Bobby Jackson, I love his sculpts and I love his like proportions.
Yep.
With his figures, And so just buying them up and building wizards and building little fantasy fighters, and now building Stargrave characters, because this one I wanted to make a mystic for Stargrave. Naturally, I want like the most kung fu like character in the sci-fi universe, and so use the Stargrave Wizards box set to have this wizard body, and then he's also got a wizard hand and a wizard arm, but he's got a Stargrave head and a Stargrave pistol attached
Right.
to the belt, and that's the length of the conversion. And so he's a full-on just Stargrave wizard painted, and he's got his mystical orb, which I was kind of imagining is like a multi-use kind of weird grenade. You could throw it, it explode, it'll do magic. You can see from it all kinds of jazz.
This is
And
the
so-
this is the credible Hulk.
Yes, yeah, I call him Morzo the Martian Mystic.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, their kits are great. Like I'll second that. Like we sell a ton of their like the monster kits from Frostgrave, like the Knolls. The Knolls
Oh,
are
yeah.
the best kits
No.
they have. Like
No, for real, they're so good. They're so much fun. Like if you have found your like chat, if you've been like ugh, assembly miniatures sucks. Like if you felt like that recently, like go get some of them kits, because they're a lot of fun. You don't feel like in the doldrums while
Yes.
assembling those models, because you're making simple decisions and they're always real effective creative decisions, as opposed to simply recreating or reconstructing something that's been deconstructed for you.
So you're saying they have like 4 or 5 parts that you can do a lot of mixing and matching with,
Yes,
rather than
there's-
18 parts that all go together in a single way.
In
It
one
reminds-
way,
it reminds me a
you've
lot
got
more-
it.
it reminds me a lot more of like Jess Goodwin's tactical Space Marine kit. where, like,
Exactly.
you could it was like,
Exactly.
hey, so you got a bunch of bodies, and then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the old style. It's the old style of and I feel the reason why is essentially bit waste, bits market. We don't want people selling bits, so we should eliminate that option. You only build them this way, right? So you do have a lot of stuff that gets let on the sprue when you build your Stargrave guys, but as you can see, I wanted to build my what do they call them? They have captain and first mate.
Yep.
This is my first mate, Sam Molo. He is a
Nice.
I think he's a gunslinger. I think that's what his thing is
Right.
officially called in the game. And so yeah, I wanted to. I think there's an official kind of character build in the book that it effectively looks kind of like a Han Solo character. So I just like copied that and wanted to paint him up in the crew. Because yeah, now I've got the whole crew all painted up orange like that, and ready to go on some solo adventures using the Stargrave supplement, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head right now. But I have to also paint, like, because I'm like ready. I got my warband ready, right? I'm like, here we go. What do I got to do for the first mission? And it's like, for this first mission, you're gonna need 15 ruffians. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm gonna paint 15 ruffians.
Yep.
I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Excellent.
You will need 10,000 goblins. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, gosh. Every turn, place 2 ruffians directly in the center of the table. You're like,
Where are they coming from?
a lot of-
Are they coming
a
out of
lot
the,
of ruffians.
they coming out of a building, coming out of a hole in the ground?
That's what it'd be feeling like sometimes.
They
Excellent.
can only teleport. They can only teleport 2 guys at a time.
So there's some lovely painting that you've been doing recently, which is super cool. In a little bit, we'll talk a bit more about some other painting work that you've been doing. We've got that cool Pit Lord
Oh, yes.
character
Oh,
to show
yes.
as well. So excited about that. Just quickly, I'm going to talk about some hobby stuff that I've been working on. And transition. I spoke to my friend Dave Powles the other day and said, hey, I'm having trouble coming up with names for all of my Space Marine characters with the big Space Marine army that I'm working on. And I said, here's the background. The idea came to me while I was in Iceland. I want Nordic, Icelandic kind of sounding names, or deed names, that kind of thing. So he sent me a list of first names and a list of potential like second names, and it was like, these are perfect, fantastic. And so I started mixing and matching them, and I put together a list of my. So I have 17 at the end of the army. Once
are you gonna roll? Is it just a list, or can you roll on that chart?
Oh no, it's not a chart.
I was gonna say, like, will we rolling D10s, my guy?
No. Everyone's been
First
assigned.
name, last name.
I should have done it that way. It would have been interesting. It would have been super interesting. But no, I actually assigned them to things. So one of them was the last name was Grey Horse, which is based on an Icelandic myth, and so it was like, oh, that'll go to the chaplain on the bike. Right, give them that kind of thing.
I feel it.
A mix of different things. So apparently, shield bearer. There's an important shield bearer law in like Icelandic law. So my captain with the big relic shield is Egil Grokskull, the shield bearer. Is his
Egil
honorific
Grokskull.
Yeah,
Nice.
I thought I'd go with Grokskull. That's an interesting one. The captain in Terminator armor is Unferth Trollbane. So
Solid.
yeah, but a whole bunch of them there. So I'm super excited about that. But
They're very wolfy. They're very wolfy sounding.
no, they're Nordic sounding.
Sure.
So
Okay.
Space Wolves would tap right into that as well. It's two different things coming at the same thing from different angles.
Sure. Okay.
But the next thing I'm going to do over this weekend is I'm going to be ordering nameplates from Versatile Terrain. So the super cool thing. So Versatile Terrain, it's a guy in the UK who's been doing nameplates, like 3D printed nameplates for ages.
Yeah.
And sorry, Jeff Smith just said, "Damn it, I picked that name for my warlord." Okay, Jeff, we'll have to talk about this before we go any further. But yeah, so 3D printed resin nameplates that you can slap onto your bases. You can either get them as a printed version. He'll send you the plates, or you can get the STL files and you can print them yourself. So I'm going to do the second thing because it's cheaper than getting them shipped over.
Bunch of prints yesterday, and they're so gorgeous. Oh,
Yeah.
in love.
Nice. But yeah, so I've been doing that. And the other thing I've been doing, I'm going to show a bunch of pictures in fairly quick succession, I think. So my local store, Games and Stuff, just recently moved. And they moved into a large, a former home goods store. So they've got a huge sort of floor space. And
What do they have you building?
so a friend of mine built this, the structure. So this is a plinth. So what I'm building from there is a mountain, basically. Kind of like a volcano.
That structure is going to be a mountain?
Yeah. So then the next image that's coming up for you guys in a minute, you'll see that lots of pink foam.
Gosh.
Then more pink foam and spray foam carved, and lightweight spackle is on the next image that's coming through, which is a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then
It's looking like a big old science project right now.
it is, isn't it?
He fills up the middle with Coke, and you drop a bunch of Mentos in there, and then
Excellent. Then the next one is I ordered this stuff from the Hotwire Foam Factory called Foam Coat, which is a like powder that you mix up with water, layer on over the top of foams. It doesn't eat away at the foam, but gives a really
spray it?
sort of. You could spray it, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's meant so that when you paint over it and stuff, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah,
it
you-
protects the foam.
Yeah. But you could
Gotcha.
spray. You could run this through a heavy duty sprayer, or brush
nice.
it on, or I like troweled it on, and then textured it to give it a rocky texture or stone, like gritty texture.
Dang, yeah, that's looking effective.
And the fun part was that I ordered this stuff from California, and it arrived, and it did 4 of the 6 sides. So, but when I smelled it, it was like, this smells a little bit like mortar. So I looked at some YouTube videos and decided, okay, I'm going to pick up a 50-pound bag of Flex Bond mortar and use that to cover the other two sides. But when it dries, it is like rock solid. So
Like a real mountain.
yeah, yep. So the next shot that I've got is the painted version. It was amazing. It took me like 5 days to build, like to construct the shapes, fill them, texture them, all that sort of stuff. And it took me a day to paint it. With the longest part being the base coat of like a dark chocolate brown over the whole thing.
Nice.
And then I hit it with some sprays, like a rust red and a like a deep
I
blue.
painted a pig and you
green.
made a mountain.
What's that? You
I
painted
said
a...
I painted a pig guy and you made a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jez wrote it's 1-to-1 terrain.
Almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost. Yeah. So yeah, definitely cool. It was basically over that brown, put the rust and the like this deep green, deep desaturated green underneath it, and then hit it with some granite gray spray from Rust-Oleum, and then hit the top with like an even lighter sort of stone gray. Then a little bit of dry brushing with some of the Army Painter stone gray paint. And the next picture... No, why is that not showing me that? What are we doing? There we go. Okay, now you get to see it in situ. In the center of the store. It'll be coming up for you in a second. But, yeah. It was a very cool project to work on.
Nice. I was gonna say, are you supposed to throw the ring into Mount Doom? Is that what this is? But
I was gonna say, yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Hot dog, yo, that's wild. Okay.
So,
big Poppy Sauron coming out that joint.
yep.
I like how big that store looks too. That store looks like mad deep. Look out!
I think it used to be like a grocery store.
No, it used to be a
throw
home
a
goods.
football the other
Home goods.
The other end.
Oh, it's home goods. Yeah, their store's huge.
Yep.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's something I have to work on. I will admit, like where Jeff says, if I'm hearing this correctly, Dave built a mountain in 6 days. Yes. So, but it was like Saturday, Sunday, then another Saturday, Sunday, and then last Saturday, Sunday finished it off. But yeah, so this is gonna be that's the central display in their store now.
Crazy. What is he made out of?
He is the Sideshow Collectibles piece.
Okay.
It was like a limited run. They made like 99 of them.
99 5-foot tall versions of Sauron.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
So, and apparently the ring on his hand lights up. So
Of course it does.
you can like screw off the finger, replace the batteries, stick it in, and it glows.
Comes with the shards of Narsil for you to take it off. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can. That's the only way you can change the battery.
Yep.
Chop off his hand.
But looking in there, what do we got? Going back through some of the chats. Jess Hunt says, if you like solo games or low model count, I'd recommend Veritwood. Cheap on Wargames Vault. Folk Horror Skirmish. Kit Bash's Dream.
Oh yeah.
He's running a 4-man
Yeah, the boy
cult.
Mike Crutch is me and him have actually been chatting a bunch. That's the homie. You should definitely check out.
Who's that?
Veritwood.
Is it?
Mike Crutchett is the guy who wrote Veritwood, and he actually came out with a new game just maybe like last Friday, called Goblin Trailer Park,
Okay.
which is also another like kind of really small, super cheap,
Right.
do it yourself, in the spirit of like the 28 style movements.
Awesome. Scott says assembling minis is the best part. Once you put 10 Malifaux box sets together successfully, you become the Kwisatz Haderach, and the
I
galaxy will
believe
bow your
it. I
feet.
believe it. Maybe a couple of those. I put together a Lich Lord Asphyxius model from Privateer Press. Not Hordes. War Machine.
War Machine. Yep.
And that model, I think, besides the studio version, I think I am the only person that's built that model because it wasn't designed to be made.
Right.
You know, like I had to like fight tooth and nail for that thing to be constructed to resemble
To go
the
together.
thing it wanted to. I was like, yo, this is like it was crazy. It was the most insane modeling thing I've ever done, and I was really feeling like, was this like? Someone was like, I'm done. I'm leaving. Have the sculpt. I'm
Yeah,
out.
like,
you know,
Nice.
You're like, did they design this as a dare?
yeah. Like I was like, I'm confused.
There-
It's like no wonder this man hired me for this. I was like,
There's-
why would you hire me for this? Oh,
there's so many companies like that make absolutely gorgeous models because they have good sculptors or they have good digital sculptors, but then they don't have an engineer who doesn't know how to cut it apart so it'll fit on a sprue or in a box or whatever. And I'm like,
Or on the
that's
plate.
I'm like, that's a huge thing. Like if you don't know how to disassemble that, like
Yep.
you see a lot of those. There's a lot of Patreons there that you can see selling a bunch of stuff. Subscribe to get X amount of models per month.
Yep.
And it looks very enticing, very beautiful. But I also rarely see it outside of render form. And I'm
Right.
like, that's probably because that won't exist as a model. Like that would explode in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. But plus, it's also about collecting potential models. Is really
Oh yeah, for
much
sure.
of our hobby is about.
It dawned on me one day where I was like, because it's still 3D printing is still kind of new. I don't have 3D printing myself, and I don't collect STL files myself, so I'm still like a little bit ignorant on it. But it did like occur to me one day where I was like, someone could just have like hard drives filled with STLs, like digital pile of shapes now.
Yep.
I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Double up, real time.
Definitely cool. Jez says Unferth is the testing advisor from the Anglo-Saxon Beowulf poem. Grima Wormtongue was kind of inspired by him.
Ooh, Grima.
nice. That's a deep cut
There
right
you go.
there.
Nice one. The Idiot Painter is in the chat. Tabletop Merc also made it. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
Tabletop Merc.
And there we go. The Idiot Painter says, Dave, what's GNS planning on doing with the mountain? Oh, nope. I don't think you did miss so hard. You saw it. You might have just typed that just before it came in, but having that Sauron model at the top.
Big old
So,
pop Sauron.
Definitely cool. Excellent. And Jack Palicki says, in situ, someone has a scientific background. Possibly. I'm not sure. Anyway,
Me.
so yeah, that's what I've been up to hobby wise. Outside
Pretty good.
of the Taylor 4 gamers. Stuff.
You definitely beat us. You built a mountain.
Yeah.
I did,
That's
but
crazy.
not out of a molehill. I built it out of pink foam and mortar.
As you're
Spray
supposed
foam.
to.
And
Speaking of which, I don't know if you got his message. Speaking of terrain, Ben wants you to build him.
oh, I did.
Like-
I got his message.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Yep. We talked about it, and I have found him an alternative.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk about it later. But anyway, so yeah, that's my hobby. So let's jump into finally at 7:56. We're going to talk to Malev about game design and
Sure.
cool craziness. So for folks that haven't heard or haven't seen, don't know what's going on there. When did you release it? Was it in the first copies were sold at Adepticon earlier this year.
Yeah, well, so I'm trying to remember. Did we pre-order then? I don't. So
No,
I think what we were selling was the kit, the terrain,
The terrain kit,
at
yeah.
the con. And it was mostly a dream that was also being sold because Demonship had such a funky like development process where it was effectively a stunt with that first, and I should have had it on me, but the first alpha version of the rule book. Like we went to print, we made it pretty, made it look as if I had play tested it. But when in reality, the demos for the game at Adepticon were the first like rounds of playtesting, essentially.
Right.
You know, so everybody who came up, I was like, "This is what you do, this is the thing." And as things were happening, I was like, "Wow, yeah, that's changing." You know, like, and then so that was the whole idea where it was like, this is Demon Ship. This is what it is. We had the terrain kit was made, manufactured. And I think we had like 30 there.
Yeah.
30 of the actual MDF kit, and we did sell all of those. And then I think it was about a month later that we went to like a pre-order for the actual game. We had the figures and stuff, and the sculpts and all of that stuff out. And yeah, like these sorts of graphics that are showing up now, where we had the second version of the rule book, which we took all of that stuff from Adepticon and all the play testing that were happening and put it in this version of the rule book, the real rule book.
Yep.
Oh, were you at the same booth as the?
Yep. Yep. He was.
Yeah. Dave knows.
as
Dave
Luna.
knows.
I think it was the Black Side Studios booth. Yep.
I love the look of Lunar. They had like the coolest.
Oh, yeah.
They had
That's
the
Black
coolest
Side.
like display boards.
Oh yeah, the boys
Like
go
the
crazy.
elevators with the little dudes going in. I was like, that's awesome.
Yep. No, the boys go crazy. So yeah, slight background for Ben and Connor. They have, before they started Blacksite, they both worked. They met working at a model train company doing those massive installations that like the rich grandpas had, where like 20-foot joints in the basement, fully modeled with rivers and stuff. So they have a ton of that experience, and so it's very, very often they like to just dip their toes back into making those really cool boards and evocative like terrain displays, because they do it for all of them. For Lunar is cool, because it's also because Lunar's like it's just like the moon. Like how interesting can it be? But there's a lot of fun ways. There's a lot of ways to make it.
Excellent. Sorry, I just had a crazy glitch on my end with Discord and Photoshop for some reason.
We glitch in the Matrix right now.
Glitch in the Matrix. But anyway, so
You think that's air you're breathing?
But the big thing about Demon Ship, which kind of blew me away when I saw it, is that it's a game played in a 6-inch by 6-inch area.
Really
It's played
small.
on one. It's one tile of Space Hulk.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Wait. Are they? Yeah.
The one big one. The one big one.
Okay. Yeah. The big rooms. Yeah, it's funny. Gotta think about that. Because then that'd be fun. I could use that. And tell people, yo, if you have Space Hulk, you ready to play. To set up these different walls and stuff.
So do you know Matt? So you're talking about Matt Burns, right?
Matt Burns. That sounds familiar, but as you say it right now, I'm like,
He does. He's another one of those guys that makes a game, and Blacksite's like putting it out for him. I can't remember the name of it.
Matthew Burns. Yes, Matt.
Yeah.
That's the homie. The Don't Look Back. Don't Look Back.
Yeah. So my business partner Ben went to high school with him. Like they go way back. And when he heard, obviously we own a store, and like they were talking, and it's one of those things where like, hey, we're old friends, but we're not really like connecting the dots. So he was like, oh yeah, I've been working on a game, and Ben was like, oh, that's cool. I just like my buddy Jake and I were doing a game store, and he was like, oh, awesome. Yeah, maybe someday you'll have my game in your store, haha. And then Ben was like, yeah, I mean, if you ever get it done. And then we were at Adepticon, and Matt Burns was there, and I was talking to him, and he saw my logo, and he was like, oh, I'm friends with your business partner. So I messaged Ben. I was like, who is this guy? And he's like, oh,
That's
he's
so
like,
great.
dude, grab me one of everything. So then I
Yes.
took it home to him, and he started playing it. But it was super weird to like have that interaction happen.
No, it's an incredibly small world, I think, in this industry now. And I mean, it always kind of has been, right? I think.
Yep.
And especially with game design and that sort of stuff, now with But that's what Blackside really wants to do, is really bring up kind of indie publishing and give people like myself and Matt the platform, the platform power to be able to actually get it all done.
Yep. So, Malev, can you give us the kind of the elevator pitch, I guess, for Demon Ship?
Yeah.
What's it about?
So in Demon Ship, it's a game built off of lots of, I wanted it to be a very straightforward game, very simple to grasp, especially its concept. And by doing that, I kind of wanted to lean into very popular sci-fi tropes that we all might be familiar with. In these cases, Alien, particularly the first movie, The Last Act, and the game Doom, which is, as if you're familiar, a fast-paced alien shooting game where you play a really cool character who is just super cool by nature. And so Demon Ship is a game where you play a nameless and plucky character referred to as the Survivor, and you are sort of flying through space in cryosleep, and you are suddenly shaken awake from your cryosleep. The power of the ship is going off. There's emergency lights, there's gunfire, there's screams, crazy shrieks that you don't know what's going on. So you reach into your shotgun holster, which is standard in all the cryotubes, and prime it, and you head out into the Demon Ship hoping to figure out what's going on. And so the setup is real straightforward. You play a character on a ship that is infested with demons, and the whole game is sort of designed from a gameplay mechanics perspective. It's designed to be a game that is meant to be approachable, not exactly a headache to play and operate. There's not a lot of things that you need to really keep track of, and also in that theme, I wanted it to be played in a small space. And this image we have up is the MDF kit from Blacksite, which was sort of my proof of concept. I'm not sure if did I give you one of my handmade one?
Yeah, I think I've just pulled that up now. So
okay, yeah. Yep. So the initial thing that I made was sort of just like this idea, and I made that with pink foam as well. And so that stuff is incredibly light. You breathe on it, and the room changes before your eyes. And so that kind of concept, I was really just wanted to make this kind of vignette game experience that played with the D6, played on this little small 6x6 area, and had a fixed set of terrain, being like a couple of walls that have certain measurements, a little platform thing, and like a little console there, and have that be what changes. You just rearrange these things, and you run through these different rooms trying to like complete different objectives. And in the case of Demon Ship, the story of the game is very straightforward. As a survivor, your whole aim is to escape from the ship. And leaning back to what I mentioned about the last act of Aliens, spoilers for Alien, by the way, as Ripley is about to escape that final ship, that's when the alien comes out of the tubes in the wall, and she has to get slowly inside the other suit as the self-destruct is going off, and blast the alien out, and it's all this kind of like final act of running away, and you think that the alien's done, but there's still danger. And that comes into play in the game, where there's 3 stages. When you first wake up, you're in the power stage in the game. The ship is in emergency power, and that's represented by your survivor can't see very far. The game plays on a 6x6 area, and in the power stage, you can only see 2 spaces in front of you. It's very dark. So when you're in the power stage, you have to navigate to the engine room and interact with the console, which effectively serves as this ever-changing button for you to interact with. When you do that, you turn on the power, and you move into the second stage, where you have to go to the navigation room and hit the emergency protocols. And just like an Alien, when Ripley tries to enact all that stuff, the self-destruct sequence goes off, and then it's a big problem. So that happens in Demon Ship as well. Oh no, the ship is going to explode. And so you have to get into the last stage of the game. It's called the escape stage, where you just have to make it to the escape pod room, get in an escape pod yourself, and shoot out into space in cryo sleep again. Hope to be picked up of that nature. And so the game is small, plays on a 6x6. In terms of all of these games that we play, being like larger miniature war games, we are expected to collect upwards of 50 miniatures. I don't know, maybe if your army is small, it might have like 20.
Playing Custodes, you're like, I have 15 dudes.
Yeah, playing Custodes, that's pretty much about it, right? So, Demon Ship, from a conceptual kind of point, I wanted to make something that had all the hallmarks of our hobby, where you collect miniatures. It has an evocative setting enough to where you kind of imagine it, or it's very easy to step into, at least, right? You kind of know what's going on. And then on top of that, you build stuff, you paint stuff, and then there's a game to play. And in that regard, that's kind of the whole concept of micro game, where even though it plays on a small space, it's really also like the concept of the scope of the game. Because in Demon Ship, there's 5 miniatures total, including the survivor. You have 2 blade demons, which are blades with sword arms, which are your melee blade. They come up close to you and try and slash you. You have 1 demon that's called the gun demon, and he has 2 arms, which are guns, and also his face is a gun. And so he shoots you. That's what he's about. And the last demon is called the frog demon, which is it is effectively a mix between the face hugger and the head crab from Half-Life and Aliens, respectively, but you replace its mouth with a shotgun, and it doesn't want to like jump on you. It just wants to jump at you and shoot you. And so with these 4 enemies, those 4 models, you just rotate through this roster using just this selection of 5 miniatures and that 6x6 board to just play a miniatures game and also feel like, oh, cool, I completed something. That's really one of the main things. Is
it solo? Is it a solo game, or
it is a solo game? Yeah, you play.
Can you play multiplayer?
There is a couple of different ways to do it. There's a kind of what I call like I don't know, did I call it head to head? I think it's called versus mode, because it's kind of, there's a couple of little plays with, when you look through the book, it has a very specific style, and we kind of went with that. So there's the versus mode, where you play against somebody and you're playing the survivor and the enemies are playing, your opponent is playing the demon. And then there's LAN mode, where you are playing the game effectively solo, but it's a cooperative experience where if I have my terrain set and my copy of Demon Ship, and you have your terrain set and your copy of Demon Ship, we play in LAN mode, and our runs affect each other. We can progress through the game stage together.
Nice.
But our characters will never be able to interact with each other in that regard. So the game is designed primarily for solo, and to be like a game that you can pretty much put like in your hobby space, make a little bit of space for on your table, and put down that 6x6 little tile, bust out the terrain elements, roll up a room, and do a run. Because like the game sort of plays kind of like a roguelite game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like a roguelite. So
yes, there's a big element of replayability. It's very difficult. A lot of people, to one person that jumps out to my mind. One comment, I should be specific. I believe they asked me for advice at the point where they played, I think, 88 games of Demon Ship and have not won one yet. And I was like, okay, first of all, thank you for continuing to play the game.
Thank you for not giving up.
Despite apparently having a bad time. You
were like, do better. You were like, do better.
So it brings me to an interesting point, because that's what a fun thing about, one thing I'm learning with this is that as a rules writer, especially doing solo games, and we encounter this a lot with you know, if we use like 40K for example, there's a whole bunch of discussions upon interpretations of text and how they work. And in a solo game, it's really important that as the writer that I deliver the information in the way that you can interpret how to resolve these mechanics yourself, because if that's in my experience, one thing that is going to make demonship difficult, or it may be even impossible for you, is if you play it wrong. And so sometimes there can be elements of that where I'm then asking questions and being like, so you played, how are you doing this? Are you doing that? What happens with it? Because I was like, bro, the odds on the math. I'm like, I didn't design that game. Like, like we should have. It's 4 up. You know, you should be able to roll a 4 up. Like, it's like 50-50 theoretically, right? Like,
Yep.
Because that is another hallmark of the game's design, is that on the D6, when you're playing demonship and you're rolling your dice, which there's a lot of that going on, 4+ is good. I got 4, 5, or 6? Yes. I got 1, 2, or 3? No. That's through the whole game. It's a very streamlined experience, but at the same time has a lot of nuance and decisions, and it's quite different from a traditional miniatures game, being that it uses spaces. Its mechanics more accurately reflect a board game. And that's also intentional in its design, because I really wanted demonship to be approachable. So like in the back of the rule book, there is photocopiable templates that you can just cut out with paper and play like what we call envelope ship, because everything will just fit inside an envelope, and you could have just 25 millimeter bases that you put the stats of the things on, like they do this much damage. And you know, there's so many ways to play the game that don't involve 3D terrain, that don't involve you painting miniatures, but at the same time I wanted a game that invited all that, where people can create their own if they want. And we've had tons of those. So many people have made their own demonship, like handmade stuff, people sculpting their own stuff, people making like 3D printed cases that like carry the miniatures and all the things, and then you flip it over and then it's the box for the terrain and all this stuff. So I've already seen some real inspired folks conversions. We call people make dungeon ship, where they just do the same rule set, but you change the tiles to look like a dungeon now, and instead of, well, no, you don't even, I guess it's not a gun demon anymore.
Crossbow demon.
Yeah, you know, it's something of that nature. You just change the profile.
It's shooting fireballs.
Yeah, exactly. Just some sort of this really, the world's your oyster with it. And in the future with demonship, I want to emphasize that with people by essentially doing what I call like reskins, where you take the same engine, but you change just the simple elements of maybe what the objectives are, re-theme the objectives to be more appropriate. But then suddenly you can have be Star Wars, like Star Wars Rebel Base type of action, or something related to historical World War II style, like a Medal of Honor type.
This is why Malev wants Lost Patrol. It's going to be one Space Marine Scout against like 3 Tyranid biomorphs.
Yeah, that is Lost Patrol resembles the type of game that I like, because it's got tiles that you flip. You don't know what to expect. It abstracts the theme of the game, which is like, is that like a leaf, or is that a Tyranid claw? And most of the time it's a Tyranid claw, which just like rips out your guts out like horribly. And so just this element of it being like, I like that. I like the narrative aspect of it, which is also a big part of demonship, where it's more especially if lots of players' experience in the modern hobby is kind of more of a competitive style of miniature gaming, where you're playing adversarially across from somebody. Demonship is supposed to kind of sit in that space that is more resembling kind of a video game experience where you're by yourself and you're seeing things resolve and kind of getting excited about these different things. And yeah, it's designed to be so bite-sized. You could play one turn and be like, ooh, okay, next time, and then just like walk away. Come back three hours later.
The cool thing about I think a lot of solo games is, and I never really thought about that. Like I think part of the reason that a big part of the reason why I like the hobby is you got to have people to play with. Like,
Yeah,
it's why I like D&D. It's why I like Warhammer. You know, even painting. Like I find I do a much better job painting when I have a couple other people like hanging around,
for
and
sure.
we're all kind of like sitting around the table talking or whatever. Just it's the social aspect. But during COVID, I think so many people were like, I don't have that option. And we would get phone calls at the store where like, you guys sell board games? Yes. What solo games do you have that are solo mode? And I'd be like, solo mode?
Yeah.
So, but we carry so many of them, like not even realize, like all the Zombicides all have solo mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can play every single one of them solo mode.
Yep.
Descent, which is a big dungeon crawl, or like Bard Sung
Especially the
from
new one, right?
yeah, the new one's great. It has a digital app and everything.
Yeah.
Bard Sung from Steamforged has a solo mode. Like there's the Hellboy game that Dave painted the minis for, that has a solo mode. Like there's almost all of the cooperative dungeon crawl sort of adventure games. Almost every single one of those has a solo mode. So
Yeah, it's a right space, and I mean it's a really interesting one because I think why I wanted to, because in the board game space it's not super uncommon, right? And there's even I'm a part of a couple of board game solo Facebook groups, and like there's people out there that there's the jargon of like forehanding. Is this game? Can you forehand this game? Like can I play this game by myself representing 4 different individuals? Oh yeah, it's not too bad, So people will go to crazy lengths to play the games just play them to resolve the mechanics and the engines and stuff like that, right? And so, but that's not necessarily super common, and to the point to where people be like, "Hey y'all, I was playing Warhammer by myself. I know that's sad. It's sad hammer. There's an actual term for it to reference playing miniature war games by yourself." Is for some reason lesser, despite the fact that we might play video games by ourselves, we might read by ourselves, we might watch a movie by ourselves. There's lots of things that we'll do by ourselves, but it's only recently, I think, and again with Demonship, I want to really lean into that it's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it, because in the way that we hobby in 2023, despite it being solo, even with Demonship, it's still about shared experiences.
right.
It's still about how did you do this thing, or when I played, this is what happened to me, or and it's still so connected, and really just leaning into this idea of doing it, because again, like there's our hobby, and we chatted about this the first time a little while ago when we were chatting, Dave. So much of our hobby, and validly so, is mental. Is thinking about, is literally entertaining the thought, man, it'd be sick to play Warhammer.
Yep.
They may not ever gonna do it, but you gonna think about doing it.
That's the majority of my hobby.
And it's
so cool.
and it's not fun. It's fun.
Right.
It is. It's fun, and so that being the case, and I'm with it, right? Because I do that too, but with Demonship and the games and Pit Lord games that I'm designing, like I want that to be like, I want that adventure to be way shorter, when you're like, oh okay, I only have to do 5 guys, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then you're done. You're not like, it's not this thing that's like, you're always slightly pushing it further and further in your like mental landscape. One day.
When you first brought it up, I was thinking Demonship. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to be the best demon, like horsemanship, like Demonship. Like, who is the master of Demonship? And I was like, well, obviously, I will be the master of Demonship. Like, that makes sense.
Yes, I'm the most. Yes, I as during demos, I would always, as I describe the game, the last stage of setting up the game is spawning demons.
Right.
So I would always hit him with the line, the game's not called regular ship, called demonship. So now we have to spawn demons, because there's demons all over the place.
Excellent.
This
Well,
ship
that's what
is
it says.
lousy. It is lousy with demons.
Lousy with demons.
This bunch, many.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw us onto the next photo that we've got, which is a collection of the contents of Pit Lord.
Yeah,
So
Pit Lord.
Pit Lord, the second game in the Malev Microverse.
Nice.
Microverse, yes.
Registered trademark. So,
That is some seriously 80s art. I love it.
yeah, some glorious 80s fantasy. It's awesome.
Yes, and so there was a natural, as Frostgrave, Stargrave, Warhammer Fantasy, or Warhammer 40k Warhammer Fantasy. There's a big inclination in this space for, if you do a science fiction thing, where's the fantasy thing? You got to do the kind of the opposite end, the yin to the yang. If
You need peanut butter and jelly. No one just wants a jelly
exactly
sandwich.
right. We need both of them, and so Pit Lord isn't necessarily that, but it is almost at the same time, because I wanted to create a game that is affectional. It still uses a lot of the same things from Demonship, this kind of like engine that I've built into the game, but changing appropriate themes for this theme of the game, which is pit fighting. It is a gladiatorial game where you are playing a character called the Combatant. And the idea behind Pit Lord, though, is that, as you can see from this crazy psychedelic art...
Actually, I've already switched over to the to the
Oh, no,
other.
you're good.
Still
Sorry.
good.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yep.
It is a space fantasy game. The use of the color pink is actually a big part about that, because I wanted the pits that you fight in are open air, so to speak.
Yep.
And I really do want it to be known. It is affectionately like a fantasy universe, but it is not. Takes place on a space planet where I call it Planet Brutal, or Planet Battle Planet, and I've also called it Brutal in Battle. There are these two ones that are just jumping ahead of each other. And the whole idea is you play a character called the Combatant that is from a conquered culture. There is a massive moving arcane city called the Megapolis that is like crawling across this planet, kind of like if you were to see it from space, it would look like a starfish with these big old like spokes of the city as it crawls around.
It's got some like John Carter of Mars vibes.
Absolutely, definitely is a big kind of thing, because it is a fantasy game. There's swords, there's sorcery, but there's also lasers. There's also like arcane things that we're not really sure of how they work. The Combatant here has like a crazy arcane device on his chest, and his belt is also alien to him. It's been put on him.
That's awesome.
by the. It's a sort of control device, if you will, and this game's journey is about trying to be the Combatant. It's more about hand-to-hand combat, more about movement and trying to position yourself. Really inspired a lot by like movement stuff from like X-Wing. If y'all have played a game called Onitama, there's a lot of
great game.
Inspiration from the way that you resolve moves in Onitama with that kind of stuff. But with Pit Lord, in Demonship, you have 6 actions that do stuff, and one of those things is blast. You do the blast action, and I blast. And I wanted the Demonship, there's no missing. You don't like roll to hit or anything in Demonship. You are so cool that when you shoot your gun, you don't miss, you just blast. So it's a simplified kind of action that also means that when you're playing Demonship, you can have a character with the gun, you can have a character with knives, you can have a wizard character, because it doesn't really matter. It's just, he does gun shoot, he does damage action. But in Pit Lord, I want it to be more minute. And so Pit Lord, you'll be grabbing weapons. You can be holding weapons in your left hand and weapons in your right hand. And you'll be like moving around the board, and all of the weapons have their own swing patterns, which correspond to different spaces. And so like the left hand swing of the sword is going to hit different spaces than the right hand swing of the sword. And so the idea will be You are rolling your dice, giving actions to the enemies as they move and try and stab you with their weapons, and you're going to be moving, maneuvering. There's like flank damage bonuses and backstab bonuses. So it's a game about moving your guys to try and be in the right position to then use the weapon that they have in whatever hand to strike and slash and deal damage and kick your opponents off into the traps and stuff, because that's another big aspect of it, where in Demonship the terrain is just kind of terrain, the walls and stuff. In Pit Lord there's a little bit less of an emphasis on claustrophobic corridors and more of an emphasis on terrain elements that are traps. And so there's going to be like, so yeah, in the image there you can see a couple of like 360 pillars with traps. There is that pink cracked tile there is over a pit space, so if you move on it and you remain there for too long, it will crack and you'll fall into the pit. The little gears next to it kick guys, move guys into those. They'll crash. They'll get grounded up. And a little crate. Similar. A big fan of kung fu movies and stuff, and I wanted the ability to be able to like slash a guy over here and kick a crate and have it fly and hit a guy over there. So the game is really trying to be distilled cinematic action, where it is very, and going back to the lasers, you can see the lasers on that door.
I was going to say, is that like a laser barrier?
It is the beam portcullis.
So you could kick somebody through that,
and they get chopped like Resident Evil slice. Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of these elements, and you can see kind of in the base as well. There's kind of like wires and stuff, and there's little hints and things that we're going to put throughout the game manual and the art, so that when someone reads it, it doesn't come across. It comes across more like John Carter or more like Masters of the Universe, where you have a hybrid science fiction fantasy world where you could because there is a gun in the game. You have swords with all these patterns, but then there's like a one-use laser blast. Because pretty much somebody, while building a character for the game, they built him with an axe and a pistol, and I was like, we have one more card left because I think we were ordered like 56 cards for the thing. We priced that all out, and we had one more, and I was like, Ben, I know what the last card's gonna be. It's gonna be a gun. just like it's gonna be like just like the Indiana Jones scene. You have a character do all these flourishing, and then you just like, I'm gonna just laser blast you, I guess.
Lamp.
I'll move on. So yeah, the game it's gonna be very similar. It's in the Microverse in the same way as Demonship, in that its theme, like all the terrain, is designed to mix into that, sit inside that box.
Yep.
And I actually have it right here. I can show y'all. And this is the Demonship one.
Okay.
This is the. Oh yeah, we gotta flip back. Right?
Zoom out. So there we go. Yep, go for it.
This is the Demonship MDF terrain box, and this is what you play on, this surface right here. But on the flip side is kind of the cover of it, if you will. It's got the name, my name, and when you take this out, this is where all of the terrain is for all of it. And so this is kind of like something that you could like put on a shelf. You can have these different things on there.
Yep.
And so the idea is that these little box games, I want them to kind of be like condensed experiences. Like if you were going to like watch a favorite movie or pull off an old like Atari game or something. And they're designed to have all the stuff that we want to be doing, like again, collecting and painting, but hopefully serve as like a nice way to introduce people to the hobby that have never painted, and you don't really want to be like, all right, so Warhammer 40, the Imperium of Man, let me tell you about it. There's so much information that you gotta just like dump, and all. There's.
I'm gonna go up to Malev Da Shinobi and be like, this is Warhammer, right? You're teaching me Warhammer.
yeah, that happens. I mean, I feel like
Awesome.
I'll be there.
Just quickly,
So yeah,
just going to jump into the chat for a sec. Sean Gleason has joined us. Hi, Sean. Dave Hummel has joined us. Hi, Dave.
Going on.
And Matt Bowles suggests that you call it Battlelandia.
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 I like that.
And Josh says, fantastic secrets were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "Oh, hello, Malev." Excellent. Had to get that in there.
I like Jess's by Crom.
By Crom.
By Crom, yes.
Crom laughs with you 4 wins.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are at 8:30, so we're an hour and a half in.
Let's whip through some minis and then
we'll
call it a night.
Then we'll wrap up. We'll get back to and we'll make sure that I think down in the notes I've put in a link to your Twitch stream, Malev.
Yeah, big thanks.
So do you stream twice a week, 3 times a week?
I do, yeah. I do stream twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. Just kind of keeping it chill. Most of the time, I'm usually just painting miniatures for personal stuff, or less often doing commissions and things like that.
Cool. And I've also put your Instagram there as well, so folks can go and check that out. But yes, now we are gonna jump into having a run through some minis that have been posted in the Build Paint Play community Facebook page over the last week. We've got quite a few, so it should be fun. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot.
What did we forget?
Jez asked, so UK distributor?
Oh yeah,
let's
the
talk about that.
UK
What's the story?
distributor. So we do have a trade site now, and I don't have the information off the top of my head about it. And so the short answer, like I said before, is yes. The long answer involves contacting your local game store or whomever you wish to carry the product, and have them go to Black Site and use the trade website to do that stuff, because we've set it up, and the idea is that we want to be able to send them all over the world at prices that are not prohibitive. And so there's the Black Site Studios trade website that pretty much any store can go to in America or internationally, and create and begin to order and hopefully begin to distribute products.
Excellent. So this is awesome. Cheers, dude. Sweet. Okay, let's jump in to the photos. First one I've got here is a new member of the community, Alex Dingle. And Alex has been, his opening post was a whole bunch of cool retro / classic projects that he's been working on. And the first one we have is a Warmaster army, an Orc and Goblin Warmaster army.
Nice.
Which is pretty crazy.
10 millimeters, so hot right now.
Yeah.
Or small models.
Small models, so hot right now, indeed. They definitely are. So, but yeah, this is definitely a very cool looking army. I think there were a couple of times I had to go back and forth to look at and see if it was a Warmaster army or if it was like just a Warhammer army, but further away.
Yeah, I said it was Warmaster, and somebody corrected me. I was like, no, I think it's just a far out shot. And I was like, that's Warmaster.
That was me. That was me that corrected you. Yes. That somebody was me, and you know it.
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus, Dave. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Warmaster.
That's fair. You can throw me under the bus. It's okay. And the next image that I grabbed, so I only grabbed 2 of Alex's things. There's a few more projects you can check out in the Facebook group. But this one is his Chaos Dwarf fleet for Man of War, which...
oh man, we got some
out all the old
games.
games.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we got some classics up there.
And he's painted them up in that classic style, and they're all on a like a new neoprene mat, which looks fantastic. And I'm pretty sure that the terrain there is from Dreadfleet. I could be wrong. It might be 3D printed terrain, but it's it definitely looks awesome.
I think it's Dreadfleet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Welcome, Alex. Thanks very much for sharing those cool projects. We look forward
What's
to
next?
seeing
Does
more.
he have his Dark Future Car Squadron? Or...
No.
No.
Hopefully he'll post something like that soon. But no, next up we've got a photo from Chris Gorka. This is the first Tyranid Warrior squad for his army.
Oh, yo, Chris Gorka's the homie. He been painting a lot of Relic Blade in the past.
Yeah,
Did a Relic Blade group painting a lot of good stuff.
yeah. Chris is
like the
super
style.
prolific.
Yes, that was a good word.
Yep.
I love the purple that he used for like their heads and their hands.
Right. Yep.
And the basing is also there ain't no skimping. The style is fastidious.
Yep.
He always does really good bases too.
Indeed. And we also have Chris's. This is the lieutenant in Phobos armor with the combi weapon. I think the title, like in the game, it's lieutenant with combi weapon. Is the model title. But yeah, this model's
he is rad. His rules are awesome. I still think it's dumb he can't join Reavers
right.
because he'd be perfect with them. But he has lone operative, which means you can't target him, which is kind of great. So you just like stick him in somebody's backyard and he just starts murdering stuff.
Yep.
His black looks great. I messaged him. I was like, "How do you do your black?" And he was like, "These 3 colors that you've never heard of." And I was like, "Awesome."
How interesting.
So we go and get those now.
To me, that reads, but it's Black Templar. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a black Templar.
Gotcha. I could see the shoulder pad. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was black from my screen coloring on that.
It's a little bit green, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
for
a
me on this
green color.
Yeah, for me it's a little bit. It's leaning more of like a teal blue, dark tealish.
Yep.
But I am looking at a crappy Vizio television, so that's the coloring.
No, excellent work there, Chris. Looks great.
He's awesome.
Sean says, what color is the weapon? We're talking about the Tyranid?
Oh, the Tyranids? Yeah, they had that nice pink on the front of those. Were those the Devourers or those the Barbed?
Devourers.
Those are Devourers.
But, yeah, looking great.
Isn't it fun to just know the name of like symbiotic alien weapons that are completely made up?
Completely
I mean, in case there's a test, in case there's a test of the Adepticon.
That's the one that shoots the living beetles, right? Yeah.
Yep, the little borer bugs.
Yeah.
Indeed. But next up we've got so Cliff Edders has done some more work on his Terminators. I think this is the second squad of Terminators.
Yeah.
And also last week we talked about the
That's a cool scheme.
we talked about the Infernus Marines, how he hadn't finished those because the decals that were given in the Leviathan box were for heavy support, but these guys were obviously close support.
Yeah.
So he grabbed some of the old fast attack symbols and has put those on his Infernus Marines now.
I appreciate that level of detail.
Yep, definitely. So yeah,
He started basing them.
Started basing them, which is good. But yeah, Sean said the Tyranids. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with something like Tentacle Pink.
Volupus Pink. I was going to say Volupus Pink. It looked like Volupus Pink on a
Yeah, it looks like
Volupus Pink over white. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Dave almost says Infernus Conga Line. Indeed. Next up, we've got Jeff Smith. Jeff posted this Tree Man that he's been working on. It's a commission piece.
Treeman.
Looking very cool. Nice little bit of like an autumnal look there.
Autumnal. That's just the word you got to say when you get a chance to.
Yeah. It's so much better than saying fall look.
Yeah.
Seasonal. This is a pumpkin spice Tree Man.
It's got a fall look.
It does. But yeah, it looks really great, Jeff.
Is that a metal giant or is that? I don't recognize it. Is that a GW one?
No.
That's not GW.
I was gonna say.
I didn't recognize it either. But it looks great. Beautiful work. And Jeff also showed off his jump pack captain for his wolf spear.
Yeah, he looks great.
This is for our Tale of Four Warlords that we've got going on at the moment.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a Ragnar Blackmane conversion.
Yep.
So it's Ragnar's body, and then he swapped out. I think he swapped out the head and on the arms.
The arms, and yeah, he's got an awesome 3D printed wolf spear shield.
Dang.
Which is coming up.
He's great. Some cool little tactical rocks.
That's like the funnest thing about Space Marine chapters is you're like, all right, my Space Marine commander, this is what he's about.
Yep. It's bad.
Yeah, there we go. That's a great shot of the shield.
Yep.
I do love his trick where he instead of using the flying bases, he pins them with a piece of like metal rod, and then he hides it in grass. It looks like he's jumping without him being on a stupid clear plastic flying base.
I don't mind the clear flying bases, but the I'm standing on a little piece of rubble. That'd be getting to me. I'm not about everybody standing on rubble.
Yeah, it's convenient that they're all just on a sticking up rock. I'm like,
I
how
would
many
be
sticking up rocks? could there be?
perfectly fine if they were just standing. That's okay. Like they don't. You know.
That's
I know what they do.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of the all the what do you call it? The guys, the assault marines from the Horus Heresy that they just showed off recently.
Yes. Now that's how you.
That's how they're supposed to look.
They're all standing on the ground. Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the day, I used to buy a box of Space Marines, like tactical Marines, and a box of Assault Marines, and then I would mix and match.
Yep.
So I would have some guys standing, and some guys taking a step, and some guys running, and I was like, that's what a squad should look like. It shouldn't be like 10 dudes all like pseudo launching themselves forward.
Yeah. Excellent. Next up, we've got some, or basically Jim Broadbent has finished off his Nurgle Marines, the Death Shroud Terminators.
Yeah, I got to see these in person. Like the greens that he used on like the cloaks and the hoods and stuff is super cool. It's like a really vibrant, like turquoisey kind of teal, and then it's all their cloaks and stuff, and then like all the slime. I mean, these models have like 9 different like shades of green on them.
Yep.
Yo, I gotta get some of those.
They look fantastic. Really cool.
Came up great.
Nice one. We've got a couple of shots here from John Schaefer. I snagged these from his Instagram. But, so he's been working on his knights that he talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
On our Tale of Four Warlords, and those yellows are looking very nice. He's got quite a bit of work to go on those.
Looking pretty cool.
They are looking good, definitely. And he also showed off his basing. So this is the tone he's going for the basing. I like them. There's a nice subtle, almost purple in there, like super subtle.
Yeah, it's lots of cool tones.
But looking.
Hey, shout out to Procro though.
Yeah. Yep. And a little bit of I think scale 75.
That's Vallejo.
Is it Vallejo?
That's Vallejo.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That fat scale fantasy stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. Excellent. So beautiful work there, John. Looking forward to seeing them next month.
Very nice.
Then we've got Kelly Rowe. Kelly's been painting up some more MCP. Just grabbed a
Can't help
couple.
himself.
He can't help himself for sure. So the first one we've got here is Cyclops. And
His Cyclops looks great.
Yeah.
I thought the Red Skull looks dope.
Very cool.
Yep. Well, Red Skull. I also have the Red Skull. So Red Skull coming up in a second there.
No, Cyclops is great. He's got like the great OSL, like the color on his chest and his arm and stuff from his optic blast.
But the Red Skull there holding up the Tesseract. Is that what it is? Is that on the Tesseract? Okay,
the
in the
Tesseract.
cube version.
The MacGuffin rack.
The MacGuffin rack. Yes. But
In the comics, it's the Cosmic Cube. In the
Cosmic
books,
Cube.
in the movies, it's the Tesseract, and then it's the Soul Stone, I think, or
right.
Oh yeah, it's one of those.
I don't remember which
One
one
of
it
the
is.
stones.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Is it the Power Stone? No.
Maybe I don't. It's one of them.
Yeah.
The Style Stone.
It's not the Time Stone, and it's not the Soul Stone.
Yeah. It's not time. It's not soul. It's not.
It's honestly
whatever.
it's been like since the Avengers came out since I saw that.
Yep.
I'm like, whoa! I'm trying to remember information from like 7 years ago.
Nice. The next one we've got is from Christian Simonson.
Isn't it epic stuff?
Christian is painted. He got a set of the Legions Imperialis box set
Ooh,
from
I like
GW, and he's painted them up in his Sons of Horus style. And
Nice.
they look fantastic. The Mind Stone. Hang on, I thought that was yellow. Wasn't that Vision's Stone? Which would be yellow?
Yes.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
'Cause that's the one that comes out of Loki's staff.
Right.
Yeah, these are great, though.
But anyway, red is power, purple is space, green is time, orange is soul, yellow is mind. What's blue then?
Which one's Captain Planet?
Yeah, that's only 5. There's still one more.
Yep. Right in the middle. Anyway, so beautiful work there, Christian. They look great.
I really want to get. I kind of want to get into 30K just because I like Space Marines. And I'm not like the biggest primary Space Marine fan.
Yep.
And so I'm like, cool. 30K seems cool, but then I'm like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like I have a bunch of Space Marines, and then Imperialis comes out, and I'm like,
Technically, it's more Space Marines.
Yes, it's more, but they're littler.
Yeah.
So, and that's cute.
Yeah, like the Contemptor's the Contemptor's the size of a grot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I kind of like small things. Been making micro games. Look at those little micro figures.
Yeah, when are we getting epic scale demonship?
I mean, let's just say people have been saying, Malev, why are you designing Pit Lord so fast with Demon Ship that just came out earlier this year? And the answer is because I got more games to make. And so believe me, there'll
be more to come.
There'll be some stuff. I'll be thinking about it.
Yeah, we're gonna put out epic demon ship. It plays on something this big. It's just like this, and like
there is someone who literally does have what we call Pico ship. They printed it at 6mm and it fits in an Altoids tin.
Oh my god,
that's awesome!
It's insane.
Excellent. Next up, we've got Nathan Sorensen. Has been painting up some more terrain for the Renegade Open 40K GT. So it's a whole bunch of scattered terrain, some shipping containers.
Shout out to the Wayland Utani joint.
Yeah, he's got some OCP there as well.
Mm-hmm. The good old line of sight blocking. Good old crates.
Is that
good old crates?
Is that Dharma? No. What'd you say? OCP?
Yeah, that's OCP. That's the company from RoboCop.
Okay, is that
the company who make RoboCop?
Is that the one in the center, the octagon?
Yeah.
Okay, really.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the Dharma initiative.
Yeah. It's the same Dharma hex, but that's OCP.
Cool. Excellent. So blue is space, apparently. But Josh said, so Malev's games are the wargamer equivalent of Polly Pocket.
Nice.
Mighty Max.
There we go.
Very astute. You're not wrong.
Excellent. Next
I had
up,
a lot of Mighty Max.
Next up, we've got a model from Mike Hughes. This is Eternus. I think it's Eternus. The Chaos Slaves to Darkness super cool model. Mike was working on this last week, I think. But yeah, beautiful greens. Really nice saturated rich greens and the desaturated reds, purples there. But
That's the joint right there. That's crazy.
Yep.
He's great. Eternus is basically Archeon from the old world before he gets all pumped up and they give him a dragon.
Right. I love that he's done that. Everything's got that sort of a grim, sort of gritty look, and then that lovely shining blade at the top sort of really draws your attention. There we go. Matt Bowl says Omni Consumer Products. That's OCP.
Yeah.
Very cool. But yeah, beautiful work there, Mike. Looks great.
Yeah, that thing is great.
Next up, we've got Sean Gleason's Lumineth Realm Lords army that won gold at Armies on Parade, his local store, which is super cool. Congratulations, Sean. That's
well done.
Great to see that.
One day I'm gonna do Armies on Parade. Monday.
One day, nice.
Yeah, maybe one day.
But yeah, beautiful work there. It's been great to see that develop over the years. There's the all looking great.
My favorite thing in that army is the Eidolon, the guy on the top right with like the water cloak.
Yep.
The Eidolon of Mathland is such a cool model.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's Idoneth Deepkin, so I think he's blended the two
Yeah, no, I'm looking
He's
at
trucking
them.
elves. He's trucking elves.
It's just elves, all elves.
That's what's fun about Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Its limit is your creative. Like you can do whatever in that realm.
Well, the guy
world.
in the front left, that's the new avatar. He just converted it. I don't know what he. I don't know if he's running it as a tree man or something, but
Yeah, I was looking at that. My brain was like, what?
Yep. What are you using the avatar as, Sean? Let us know.
That's a lava man.
But yeah, looking brilliant. Nice work. And Sean has also been working on some BattleTech. He posted this afternoon.
I do loves me some BattleTech.
You do indeed. So, and as you know, I know nothing about BattleTech except that you like it. So
That's what's exciting about BattleTech. I think I'm gonna get there. They're gonna be like some point in my life where I'm like, yo, now I'm interested in BattleTech.
Oh, dude, they look great. So the big guy in the back with the
super
skull head, that's an Atlas.
okay,
And then he's got a bunch of clan mechs. So he's got like the one on the top right with the boxes on his shoulders and the laser arms. That's a dire wolf.
Direwolf. Okay,
That's like a classic one. The one to its left is that's an archer.
right.
I think that's a clan archer. And he's got a blackjack. It looks like. Yeah, so good.
Cool.
And the nice thing about these
Game
mechs
looks
is
really
like
nice.
they paint up so nice. Like they're so much fun. They're you don't have to build them. They come out of the box like that. Like they're great.
Excellent. And very cool. No, they look great, Sean. Nice work. And finally, we've got some photos from Stephen Ryder. From the, I think he recently took delivery of a Kickstarter for Zotes. So we have the first sort of work in progress where he's been assembling and cleaning up the Zotes in lovely metal, white metal there.
I've been cleaning up models in white metal this whole time.
Yep. And then he slapped them on some rectangular bases and got some priming going with some airbrush work, which looks super cool.
Does love Zotes.
Yep.
Oh, then some chonk boys. I like it.
Yeah, these are super chunky Zotes.
Those are the type miniatures that I like to affectionately say that Jason Bourne could kill a mercenary with that miniature.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Indeed.
Straight up cranial smack.
Yep. And then the final photo we've got here, that is the painted version with his basing done.
I like to come at me, bro. But he's like, come on.
Yeah.
What's good?
I don't even need to aim
What's
my
good?
weird biogun at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Sean says the avatar kit bash is Orion or Kurnoth.
Oh,
Nice.
So
okay.
yeah, definitely looking cool. But no, beautiful work there, Stephen, as well. I think
great.
done a great job there.
I dig those. Those look good for, like I mentioned. I think I mentioned it already. Xenos Rampant. I don't know if I mentioned it while we were live, but make me think about Xenos Rampant.
And
It
that's
makes me think this is like 1991.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
with Epic and Zotes and
Epic and Zotes and like all kinds of stuff.
all kinds of crazy stuff. Absolutely. Yep. Everything old is new again. But
Kind of great.
absolutely fantastic.
No, we got Tomb Kings coming back. I never thought.
Yep.
Never would have thought.
Oh man.
So much crazy stuff. But anyway.
Well, Malev, thank you so much for joining us, man. I appreciate it. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. Thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was fun. I hope we can do it again. Unless you guys have like a one guest, one time policy.
No. We can always have people back.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
We've never had a return guest, but
That's not true.
that's true. Yeah.
Is it not?
Well, apart from our Tale of Four Warlords guests.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, right, but like we're having Adam on again.
Okay,
in
we
a
haven't
few
yet.
weeks, and then-
We haven't yet had. return
Again,
guests, apart from-
asterisk, not counting Jeff and
Not counting Jeff and John, because that's a separate format, but
sure. But
Yes, yeah,
short,
that was
short
fun.
answer, yes. Short answer,
I'd
yes.
love to
You
come
can
back.
definitely come back.
yeah, that would
Sweet.
be super cool. But
Um,
actually, yeah. Did I mention it at the beginning of the show? So at the beginning of the show, we had different show music,
Oh yeah.
which was provided by Malev. So that's why we wanted to throw that in there. So, as I said, triple threat, awesome, awesome guy. You have a Patreon as well. I didn't link to the Patreon, but folks can find that through your Instagram or go to Patreon and type in Malev.
It's mostly feet stuff, but whatever. It's
mostly feet stuff.
Yeah,
everybody's
you really
Patreon
like
mostly feet stuff.
river dancing and feet stuff. That's
Yep, these are
the
the
crossroads.
Two things. But no, absolutely cool. Anyway, but no, it's awesome having you on. Thanks for joining us. We'll also take this opportunity to say, like, right at the end of the show, to say, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us a comment down below. We are at 360 some.
Yeah, we got 10 more since last week. Remember, our goal is I would love to hit 400 by the end of the month. That would be outstanding, and I would love to be able to hit 500 by the end of the year. That's what I want for Christmas. I want 500
for Christmas. Yeah, and then come back after the stream is posted and then leave a comment on the video. Because all those comments, they don't go anywhere. They just go. They go to the ether.
Yeah,
for sure.
But just quickly in the chat, Matt Paul said, my prime hobby years, 91 through 2005. Just said they were great.
It's a lot of good stuff there.
Yep. Dave Humble says, wakes up from coma, sees Legions of Astartes and Tomb Kings. What year is it?
For real.
Excellent. Josh, it's a great show tonight, guys. Thanks for having Malev on. Not a problem. Don't forget, everybody, Josh is going to be streaming right after this, or in a couple of minutes, on Twitch. So go and look for JP Got Rockets on Twitch and continue the fun. And Jess says, top lad, Malev.
Hey.
Matt Paul says, we aim to game, and to do so, you have to build, paint, play.
True. It's all true. See, that's Dave and I try to be trendsetters. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
but, once again, thanks very much to the Army Painter for sponsoring us. Thanks very much to Game Envy for sending me this awesome lamp that will get lots and lots of use. As I said, awesome. I will be at PAX Unplugged next weekend, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of December, doing lots of painting at the Game Envy booth, and also helping Rick out, our friend Rick Angty, at some of the painting classes that are going on there. Absolutely awesome.
I'm bummed out. I was gonna be there hanging out with you guys, but like again, having our landlord turn into an absolute space clown and having to move my store during Black Friday weekend is not ideal. So I will be moving the store all next week. Much love to everybody who I will miss at PAX Unplugged. Hopefully you guys have a good time.
Yep. Next week, we've got Terrace Cassidy from Geek Nation Tours. So,
okay, awesome.
We'll have Terrace on, which will be super cool. Fun chatting with him. And as Dave Hummel says, Happy Turkey Day. Oh, Sean says he'll be at PAX, which will be super cool. Come up and say hi.
Dave, are we good? Dave, are we ready?
Have we covered everything? Are we all good?
I think so.
I think so. I'm all set. So thanks very much, Malev.
Thank you, y'all. Appreciate it.
Jake.
Yeah, so we will see you all. We will see you all in a week. And in the meantime, have a great holiday with your families. Everybody be safe. Like Scott says, everybody love everybody. And we'll see you guys next week. And as always, don't forget to build, paint,
play.
Shut up and sit down.
Never.